This is the story of one of the many rejections I had to go through to become the person that I am today. And honestly, this is probably by far the most painful and embarrassing one that I have. And now in my life, I'm at a position where my dating life is not something that I've struggled with for a very long time. I have a girlfriend, and before I did, I never struggled with confidence or feelings of anxiety at all for a long time. So the whole point of this story is to give you hope, to let you know that if you're going through a lot of rejections, it's something that eventually, if you work through and you learn from, you can improve. And also just to show you that I had to go through a lot of hardship to get to where I'm at today. So even if you're down right now, eventually you can get to a spot where you are where you want to be. Okay, so just to set the scene a little bit, I was at one of my friend's birthday parties and I was just drinking, having a good time, and all of a sudden I saw this girl who I thought was pretty cute that walked in. And obviously, I'm not gonna name drop her because I'm not gonna expose her identity, but we'll just call her Beth. Okay, so I'm just minding my own business, hanging out with some friends, and then eventually I get the idea of, okay, well, I wanna, break the ice a bit, so why don't I just ask her if she wants to play beer pong with me? So I walk up to her, ask for her name. Oh, hey, what's your name? Oh, I'm Beth, and then I give her my name, and then I go, do you want to go play some beer pong? And she goes, sure, I'm down. So anyways, we play beer pong, do that for a little bit, and then she walks away to go hang out with her friends again. And at this point, everything seemed like it was going pretty well. I had gotten her name, we had played some games for a little bit, and I thought that I was doing pretty well. And then about an hour later, she comes up to me and she goes, hey, I had a good time meeting you, and I just wanted to let you know because I'm about to head out. And then I get her phone number, planning to want to text her later on or plan a date or something. And then this is where I made the biggest mistake. She starts to walk away and I go, oh, do you mind giving me a hug before you leave? Oh my gosh, bro. I still get so much pain even just thinking about that moment. And obviously, I'm in a spot now where I'm extremely happy with my dating life, so I would not change the way that anything went to get to where I'm at because I'm happy with where I'm at. But still looking back at that one moment, if I wouldn't have said that one thing, it probably would have gone a lot different. But guess what? Even though my friends roasted the shit out of me, made a lot of fun of me, and it was a really bad moment, I still learned a lot from it. I had a very clear mindset shift after this moment where instead of beating myself up and saying, oh, it's over and I'm never gonna find a girlfriend, I said to myself, you know what? That was an extremely stupid moment. That was very bad. But I'm going to learn from it and I'm going to get better. So here are a few key takeaways that I had from this moment. Number one, you gotta stop being desperate. When you look at that action, where did it come from a place of? Did that action of me going, oh, do you want to give me a hug? Did that come from a place of desperation or a place of abundance? Of course it came from a place of desperation because I was looking for her validation to see if she was into me, to see if she wanted to like me back. And because I came from a place of desperation, it led to me looking super needy and unattractive to her. So what should I have done instead? Well, I should have just gone with the flow. I should have just said, okay, see you later and, maybe we'll get together sometime. But instead, I was so needy, I was so desperate that I needed some sort of sign that she was into me, when in reality, everything looked pretty good and I shouldn't have worried about it too much. So whenever you do something, never ever do something out of desperation. Number two, bro, think before you speak. A lot of the things you do to make women unattracted to you, it's not actually about the things you do, it's about the things that you don't want to do. You should always think before you say something to her, is this going to increase her attraction for me or is this going to decrease her attraction for me? Because what a lot of guys do with women is they self-sabotage. They say things that are really stupid. They do things that are really stupid that lead to her losing attraction. So instead of doing that, instead of killing her attraction for you, focus on thinking before you speak. Always be super present about it. And this is something that if you are struggling with a lot, I think meditating would actually help. That's kind of a random point, but if you want to be more mindful about the things you say less dumb things and say more good things, you should do more meditation. And also, just be present about it. Don't just say stuff just to say stuff. Only say things that are going to increase her attraction for you, and don't self-sabotage. Number three, you have to set the masculine frame. Now, what does this look like? Well, masculine energy is focused on purpose, achieving goals, on becoming your best self, whereas feminine energy is focused more on love, on pursuing relationships. The mistake that most men make is they put themselves in a feminine frame, where instead of their main focus in life being to level up, become their best selves, they're focused on attracting women, on finding love, which to a certain extent is okay. It's okay to still have love obviously be a big part of your life, but it should never be your focus. Your focus should always be your mission and purpose. So what does this look like in your interactions with women? Well, what this looks like is that when you're talking to a girl, put yourself in the frame where instead of you chasing after her, she's chasing after you. Because where most guys mess up is they always say to themselves, oh, how can I get her to like me back? How can I win her over? When instead, women want to be the one pursuing you. So you have to flip that script and say, instead of how can I win her over, ask yourself, how can she prove herself to me? How can she win me over? Because the ideal situation for you as a man, would you rather be the guy who's always chasing after women or the guy who women are chasing after? Of course, you'd rather be the guy who women are wanting to pursue. But before you actually get that, you have to make that shift in your mind. Because if you're always being super needy and chasing after the girl, she can't chase after you. So come from a place of confidence, of abundance, set a masculine frame instead of always chasing after the girl. And number 4, you gotta learn from your mistakes. I'm a huge sports fan, so think about it this way. What made Tom Brady such a great quarterback? What made Michael Jordan one of the best basketball players, the best basketball player of all time? It's the fact that they studied film. They studied, bro, and they learned from their mistakes. Do you think Tom Brady would have become the best quarterback ever if he never watched film? If he never thought to himself, oh, I threw that interception because I made this mistake, so I'm not going to make that same mistake again? Do you think Michael Jordan would have become the greatest basketball player ever if he, instead of learning from his mistakes, he just made the same mistake over and over and over again? No, of course not. So what you have to realize is it's not about never making a mistake. Because I also don't want you to hear this story and then be like, oh, well, I'm never going to approach a girl because I don't want something embarrassing to happen. No. That embarrassing moment happening was the greatest thing that could have happened to me because it actually put me at the lowest point possible so I could learn from it. So guess what, bro? You're going to go through rejections. You're going to have embarrassing moments. But it's not about the rejection. It's about how you view it. It's not about if you fail. It's about, do you learn from your failure? Because if you're never failing, if you're never getting rejected, you're just not trying. So failure, rejection is actually a sign of growth. But if you don't learn from it, it won't be growth. So that's why the key is that you have to learn from your mistakes. When you get rejected, think, okay, why did that happen? Where did I mess up? How could I improve? And don't beat yourself up. Have a learner's mindset, not a negative mindset towards failure. So don't be scared of rejection because if you get rejected, there's a 99% chance it won't be any worse than the story I just told you. And if it is, who the cares? Learn from it and move on. I'll see you for the next video, bro.